Hello there. In this video I'm looking at the Star Wars Shatterpoint rulebook. Hello AOS fans, Robin here, back after a little bit of time with the Shatterpoint video. We've had the Easter vacation here in the UK and I went away for a few days to Vienna to celebrate my 50th birthday. I'm feeling very old right now and I've been really busy. The kids have been off. My middle son went to a Pokemon tournament for a few days. I had to take him to that, which was very exciting up in London. It actually really was quite an experience for him, in particular. He loved it, which is really nice. So I've been really busy, and in that meantime we've had the Star Wars celebration that was on while I was in Vienna, and then AMG dropped the Shatterpoint rules. There's been loads of content out there, so I don't really, although this is called my video about the Shatterpoint rulebook, I don't really want to talk about that much. I had a bit of an existential crisis actually when it came up, because I was away and I was kind of seeing all the stuff being posted. I thought, well, why do I make these videos? Why do we as content creators make these videos? And I want to share my enjoyment of gaming and Star Wars and books and whatever it might be on Warhammer Underworld, obviously, on the channel. But I was just seeing all these videos basically telling us the same thing we've already said. We can all read the rulebook now. We can all see it. And I just thought, well, what's the point in me adding to that conversation? Sometimes I feel like we're all kids all jostling for attention of sort of, I don't know, the teacher or some sort of hope that we might become famous on a result of our amazing insights into Star Wars Shatterpoint. Which obviously bunkum. I mean, I love all of our viewers, but it's really grateful to have you watching. But they get about 500 of you at the most watch these videos. So I kind of, I don't want to just keep regurgitating the same stuff for the sake of it. But the Shatterpoint rulebook almost became like a mythological quest for some people. There were some people, and this always cracks me up on the Facebook pages, you always say, oh, here's this new thing from Shatterpoint, and somebody will always go, what about Star Wars Armada? When are you going to do something with that? Or the other common one was, when are we going to see the rulebook? When are we going to see the rulebook? When are we going to see the rulebook? And it was almost like AMG were deliberately keeping something from us. There was like some sort of elephant in the room that actually, turn 3, all the people could actually bring on an elephant or something that we didn't know, and they were hiding it from us and trying to deliberately hoodwink us into buying this game that we couldn't see. I can see why people want to see the rulebook. Personally, I struggle with rulebooks, especially in the abstract. Like, I've read the rulebook. I say I've read it. I've read bits of it. I've gone back and forth through it. I'm really bad at reading rulebooks. So for me, it wasn't really essential that I could see a rulebook. I wanted to see some videos of the gameplay, which we got when we were at Adepticon. But I actually really like the AMG transmissions that they've done for the various rules of the game, because that gave me a bite-sized chunk and a kind of overview of how different mechanics worked. The nitty-gritty, I'm not that bothered about. I know a lot of people are. They were really worried about certain things. I'm still worried about certain things. I'm still worried about the possibility that actually it's just going to be too overwhelming with all the different combat trees and abilities and interactions. I love the word synergy, but I always feel like if you have too many synergies, you end up confusing the hell out of yourself. That's why I end up dropping games, because I just can't tap into all those synergies all the time, and I forget them, and then I get frustrated. If you take any game, whether it be Warhammer 40,000, Marvel Crisis Protocol, the complexity is in the interaction between the components, so the cards, any tactics cards you might have, the abilities, how they interact with one another. That's where the complexity is. The rules for all those games are very, very simple. The playing of them often can be too complicated or too many things to forget. So I wasn't that worried about seeing the rulebook. Like I say, I really was enjoying the piecemeal delivery by AMG of the kind of rules overview. I just struggle in the abstract to pass these rules. I've read them. I've read through them. There's a few things that I've noted that are maybe of interest. I was never that interested in actually sitting down and getting with the nuts and bolts of the rulebook, because I still haven't got the components to play the game with. I haven't got the miniatures. That's where the excitement for me is going to lie. It's going to be in painting those miniatures, and then getting the miniatures that I've painted onto the table to play with them. That will give me a bit more of investment, so I will want to try and make it work. If I just read the rules in the abstract, I'm like, well, I'm not really that bothered about that, and I haven't got any buy-in yet. I mean, it is a big buy-in. Don't get me wrong. If you're waiting for the rulebook and you wanted to see that because that's going to help you make your decisions, brilliant. But for me, seeing that rulebook wasn't going to make a massive, well, I'd already ordered it anyway, but it wasn't going to make a big difference to how I played the game. I am a little, or it wasn't going to make a big difference to whether I played the game. So I am still a little bit concerned that there's going to be too many interactions in there. I'm not worried about the randomness. Somebody commented on one of our videos earlier today that they're worried about the randomness of the draw. I'm not worried about that. I think there's not that many fighters around for it to be too awful if the randomness has come out. I don't mind a bit of randomness. Anyway, I don't think AMG try to make particularly competitive games. I know everybody likes to kind of make everything like, I mean, AMG's got a big competitive scene. MCP has got a big competitive scene. I know people will enjoy that, but I don't think AMG particularly push that. They're certainly their store support stuff is all around narrative kind of big collaborative games, and not the narrative, not the competitive side. So I don't think that's a big feature of how AMG want to make their games, and I don't particularly want to. I mean, I'll probably only ever play with Pete anyway, so we're never going to be that competitive. But so for me, the rulebook wasn't the big thing that I needed to see to know whether I was going to enjoy this game. The things I wanted to see, I have to say, is all very soft, but it was things like seeing what miniatures were going to be released at Adepticon and stuff like that. It's because at the end of the day, I will get as much enjoyment out of painting them as I will playing them on the table. So I did notice a few things in the rulebook. I'm actually not going to go over them in this video. I've included a link in my comments. So I've written a blog post about the things that I noticed, but I think the transmissions actually gave a really good, solid overview of how the game is going to work in a soft way, which kind of you don't need to worry about the nuts and bolts of it. It's all going to be okay, I think. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Are you a die-hard rulebook fan, aficionado? Do you need to see the rules? I was thinking about all these board games I've got stacked up behind me. I almost never have read the rules before I purchased those. Admittedly, a single board game is normally less of an overhead than a massive miniatures game. Like I say, you've got the balance of I wanted to paint the miniatures anyway. But are you a diehard, want to see the rulebook before you buy it? Like I say, I just can't understand how a game might work just from reading the rulebook. My brain doesn't process that way. It actually took me quite a long time to realise that. I used to think, oh yeah, I'll sit down, because I'm reasonably intelligent, I can follow instructions, and I used to think, oh, I'll sit there with the rulebook, it's only really through doing the channel and reading different rulebooks that we've had from games that we've reviewed that I've realised that actually I'm really, really bad at understanding how a game works through reading the rules, which is interesting. So life's a journey, you always find out new stuff about ourselves. But what do you think? Are you really glad to see the rulebook? Is there anything in the rulebook that you hate? Anything in the rulebook that you love? Are you like me? Are you slightly worried that there's going to be too many things to remember? I just saw an amusing picture on the internet of all the different symbols, which are basically arrows. I think there are 4 of them, and they're all basically different types of arrow, and they're all different conditions in the game. That sort of thing is the sort of thing that ends up breaking a game for me. So I think I'll be all right, but I have to wait and see. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. Am I talking cobblers? Do you not care about my 50th birthday? No. Do you not care about whether, my personal views on rulebooks? Do you want to know the nuts and bolts of games? Would you rather see videos like that, or would you rather these slightly more discursive, wandering journeys into my psyche? Let me know, and I'll do my best to bring you what you guys want. Until next time on the Agents of Sigmar, whether we're talking about Shatterpoint, whether we're playing Warhammer Underworld, or whether I might even be doing a book review. Who knows? We'll see you soon on the Agents of Sigmar. Bye for now. Bye.